So you can tell I'm back in Essex already, can't you? If you don't know this beautiful lady, this is Faye. Look at my last video if you've missed it, and you'll get the full story on us two, darlings, us two. Now, in the last video, we were inspired whilst talking to do predictions, situations, atmosphere, energy that's going on around the world to help you and to give you messages. Now, I'm cooking something at the moment. I'll show you in a minute after I've cooked it enough. Faye is going to be looking at
some mundane astrology, but I do this in a very different way to other mundane astrologers. I compile the chart in a similar way, but I also use some of the science, but also I use the chart almost as a tarot card. So I'm kind of looking at it and being very well, I don't like to call it predictions, forecasting, and giving
just
you
show
options.
me, darling, what she's looking at.
So if I show you on my phone, I don't know if you can see that very well on the phone.
Go
but
closer.
If you can see, I've got like a lovely chart here that you can kind of see. And it's got all the different...
That looks like one of those old... Do you remember those old 1970s string things?
Yeah, so it's got all of the different aspects in the middle here, you can see. And then on the outside, the little green things, they are all of the transits that are happening. And the chart's been compiled from 1801, which was, you know, when the London chart would have been first birthed, if that makes sense. And then we kind of doing it for London time, and then we're literally going to look at it and see what's happening scientifically, but also...
Would that cover the world as well, though?
No, it's UK more so.
UK.
This is UK.
Okay, so I'll be covering world events. I'm going to
be doing more UK-based events.
Bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
I've got Gabriel and Archangel Michael with me, and I've got my first word. I'm also going to be doing automatic writing. Okay, and then I'll show you what I'm cooking. I've just got to cook it up, and I'll show you that in a minute.
I'm also going to be pulling some cards for you as well.
Oh my God, you're having a right treat with us too.
We've got some astrology cards going on, so we're going to have a little tete-a-tete.
Oh my God, this is amazing. I wish I was watching this.
Yeah, me too.
Bloody hell, two of the greatest minds sitting in front of you on the screen. What more could you ask for, darlings? Yes. So firstly, welcome to all the new subscribers as well. It's been absolutely brilliant, all the new support. Absolutely love having you here. Really hope you're enjoying the channel. It has been a bit quiet because obviously I've had to move, but I'm back in the space, so we'll get on with this and get into what we need to do. I just need to do this first bit because this is the first message, and this is to all of you, wherever you are in the world, okay? The main energy that you need to work on at the moment is atonement. That's from Gabriel. It's the first thing he channeled straight into me. Atonement means is that we are in a massive shift at the moment, as we know, but it isn't just about spiritual consciousness, reality, collectiveness. It's also about you personally getting yourself to the strongest vibration that you can, okay? Part of that is atonement. So this is you looking at things either you feel guilty about, things you can't let go of, things that you perhaps said in the past that were wrong, things that have jarred you a bit about how you've presented yourself, anything that's created in the past, something that you feel that you need to forgive yourself for, you need to work on that now. And this is so easy. People say, how do you do it? How do you do shadow work? How do you do this? It's really, really simple. The one thing to do is journal. This is, you know, every psychotherapist on the planet will say to you at one point, write it out. Okay? If you're not good at writing or you can't spell, you've got issues with writing, talk it out on your voice memo so it's recorded, okay? And then what you need to do then is once you've identified what it is, forgive yourself. Just forgive yourself. You can use Archangel for forgiveness. Mercy will be Zadkiel.
Yeah,
Zadkiel. Purple ray. Cover yourself in a purple ray. Zadkiel, please ask. Look at this. Or Jeremiah. Again, that deeper violet ray. And just say, I need you to help. Yeah, it's right. Thank you. So you need these two to come in and just say, help me do this. And what happens is, the magic is that they will bring thoughts in. Is actually, I could send a letter to that person, or do you know what? I need to let that go. They will inspire you on how to actually cope and deal with what you need to atone for. Okay. Also, after that, what I would do is it's on here or it's on the website, Cutting Cords of Archangel Michael. Literally press play, envisage who you need to let go of or what you need to let go of during the guided meditation, and it's done. It's that simple. People make things too difficult and complicated. And that's why if you're in like a depressed energy, exhausted energy. A lot of you have got chronic illness on my channel. Bless your hearts. You just think, I can't be asked.
Yeah.
But this is so easy to do, right? If I can do it, you can. And I've been through it, let's face it. And so has Faye recently. You can do this. It's just a little bit of application. It doesn't have to be, you know, there's a lot of videos out there I watch where they say, oh, if you do this 22 times a day under this time, don't make it a chore. When you want a cup of tea, sit down, and rather than scroll through TikTok, sit with your book, sit with your journal. That's why I made journals. That's why you've got journals on Amazon on my website. It's so easy. I even lay out what you need to do. You know, it couldn't be simpler. So atonement is the energy they're asking you to do. So what the angel realms do is they take into account cosmic energy, reality energy, 3D energy, 5D energy, and they give a main message of what they want you as a collective to work on. And that apparently is what is needed at the moment. So that's the first message, okay? So atonement is the first thing you need to be doing to help yourself go into that higher 5D dimension. All right, and to feel peace and tranquility. And I've done it. And inadvertently, if I look back the last couple of weeks, I'm thinking, oh my God, I've done that. And then they've just brought that in today. Okay, so at the moment, we're under the energy, the vibrant bronze gold energy of Gabriel and the beautiful, powerful royal blue of Michael. Michael at the moment stands in his protective stance. So it's very protective of those energies that feel a bit vulnerable because they're doing this wonderful spiritual transition. And so he's literally saying, I've got you. I'm shielding you. I've got my sword out ready. And I am trying to help you as much as possible. Invoke him, darlings. Bring him into your life, okay? So what have you got there, honey?
So straight away, I pulled the card Collaborate, which you can see here, which is the card of Aquarius. So this is about, again, the collective, but it's also about you on an individual level collaborating with others. You know, which is exactly what Nicky's just said to you.
Wow!
Collaborating with the angels, collaborating with your guides, your higher power.
And the people you need to forgive or get rid of.
Forgive or forget and get rid of, out of your life. So again, Aquarius is air signs. It's very much in the mind. It's about what's in your mind that's holding you down, that's keeping you, you know, bound to certain environments, experiences, people. So this is very much about you know, allowing yourself to be refueled and allowing the flow of life.
And it's almost like the temperance cup. It's establishing the balance.
Aquarius is temperance, isn't it? It rules temperance.
God, I didn't know I was so
good.
Yeah,
so it rules temperance, you know, so it's very connected to that. So again, you know, what I would be looking at with that is about you pouring into others. And allowing others to pour into you as well, you know, and very much clearing the mind of anything that you've just said, exactly the same thing.
And establishing balance, thank you. Establishing balance, Archangel Raguel and the Power Blue Ray will help you to establish harmony, balance, and get rid of all the chaos amongst relationship situations, job, work, whatever the situation you find yourself in.
And
okay,
again,
darlings?
pulling the Aquarian card couldn't be more poignant at the moment in general in the astrological aspect of things, because we have, you know, we have now Pluto, which is transiting through Aquarius, which is going to be on like a 25-year transit through Aquarius. And when we're looking at the mundane astrology of that, if I just quickly go on to that, that is actually transiting through the 4th house in the astrological chart, which represents on a mundane level globally the hometowns, like your kind of roots, homeland, where you live. So in the UK at the moment specifically, Pluto is having a massive restructuring of birth, death and transformation in our homeland. So this is very significant for us right now.
So how does that affect us individually?
So individually, it means, you know, Pluto's energy normally comes in when it first enters, which it would have done a good few months back, perhaps last year.
We will try and put the chart up, by the way, but I don't know how to do that. Karen, our absolute diamond, will be able to do that.
So last year, it would have just started entering, which is when obviously things start to die off, if you like, things that no longer serve you die off. So at the moment, we're going through a massive period of change and transformation where things within our homeland are, you know, becoming chaotic, disruptive. You know, things are being rebirthed, like all new kind of science and all new you know, scientific discoveries. There's lots of rebirths and changes with regard to perhaps government. I feel like there's going to be, you know, a definite change in that situation going on, because we are about to, I think in July, have...
is this in the UK?
In the UK. In July, we're about to see Jupiter move into Leo, which would be in the 10th house of the UK, which again would be ruling leadership, government, and, you know, even royalty. And Leo is also very linked to royalty. It's very linked to leaders. So again, we could be seeing a real kind of, you know, justice coming to that environment, because
Wonder if
Jupiter
Andrew's
rules
going to finally get
justice,
hit with everything legally.
because Jupiter rules justice, but it also rules things that are more fortunate potentially, or expands things. So, for example, it could be going in, again, we're going to give you the opportunities here. We're going to lay out different avenues of forecast. You know, it could very well go into Leo in around July time and start to potentially cause trouble with the royal family. It could potentially start to cause more trouble with our government leaders.
Pull a card on the government leaders. I'm feeling, I don't know anything about politics, as you know, but I keep feeling Green, or whatever who represents Green parties, they've got quite a significant control over some seatings, but I don't know if it's good or bad, but I don't know if Farage is going to...
Well, there's some interesting things going on with the mundane astrology at the moment, which I'll share with you in a minute.
Rebirth.
So again, we've got the vision here, which is Neptune, which again, Neptune can sometimes be what's being held secret, illusion, fantasy, stagnation. Neptune,
basically a politician.
Yeah, yeah, everything that involves politics, really. But but again, Neptune is also a really high octave of spirituality. So it's very connected to you reaching your soul's purpose. It's connected to the galactic center. It's connected to us. In general, being actually again, it's very connected to the pharmaceutical industries as well. Very connected to that as well, and to it's a very Pisces driven card. It's also very connected to the 12th house of the unconscious. Hospitals, very connected to institutions, very connected to oil, gas, all of those kinds of things.
Right, so if we just stop there with the hospital and the health, is there any message for humankind for that? What is going on there?
Because we pulled Pluto connected to it. So again, Pluto is rebirth, but Pluto also reveals secrets. So I think we're due for some revelations of things that we've been being lied to around the pharmaceutical industries, potentially, or lies of government, lies of people, because obviously we were looking at, that energy around Pluto transiting Aquarius at the moment in the hometown. So again, we might be seeing things that are connected to truths and lies being discovered, because again, that's very connected to Pluto energy. And the revelations coming to light about what corruptions have been going on, not just with the pharmaceutical industries, but also within the lies of government. And also, again, with knowing that we've got Jupiter, that I just said to you a minute ago, Jupiter transiting, at the moment it's transiting the 10th house. It's in Cancer at the moment, but it's going to be moving into Leo. Again, it could mean something to do with our police, because Jupiter rules the police. It's got the energy of justice. So we could be seeing corruption in our police force, corruption potentially within
more unrest, more civil
unrest potentially, but also justice being served. So things, because Jupiter normally shows us justice being served. But again, pulling these two cards, it could mean that there is secrets coming to light, a little bit of this Jupiterian energy, which makes it a little bit harder to see the truths sometimes, because Neptune energy, to see the truths, sometimes it can be a bit illusory, a bit in that environment. So I think if we're looking at leadership, Neptune I always see as being a bit deceitful. So again, we're looking at deceitfulness, and then Pluto is revealing deceit, corruption.
Lovely. And just carrying on. And this is weird, because as you were saying that, Faye, I got Nicaragua.
What's that?
I don't know. It's a place, isn't it?
I don't know.
I literally heard Nicaragua.
I don't know what that is.
Are you crap at geography as well?
Yeah.
We're amazing. We can talk to spirit people, alien people, the High Council, archangels, guides, saints.
I know.
Ascended masters.
That's why we're kept pure, though. We're not giving...
No. I just sometimes think people look on this video and think, is she making it up? No, I'm not. I didn't even know the World Cup was this year. I thought it was about 10 years' time. I thought it was every 10 years. I didn't even know. But Nicaragua, whatever what you've just been talking about there, there's something to do with government, police, unrest, or something to do in that place. We'll Google it later, but let us know in the boxes below, because you always do, don't you? Because I'm rubbish at them. It's cooked. I've cooked it. It's red hot.
Right, so I'm just looking
Look what
now.
I've cooked.
What have you cooked?
I've cooked, because mine is still in packaging, I can't be asked to get it out. I've nicked your Lemuria.
You've rebirthed my crystal ball out of the bosom
It fell to the bosom.
Nicky Alan.
Bosom of Nicky Alan. Hello,
bosom.
darling. Sorry, you don't mind it. We share everything. We share guides. We share. Yeah. I'm not going to say about that. But
we don't share nothing naughty. We do.
I've got to say about your partner. I've got to say about your partner. I'm joking.
No, we're joking.
So I've got my Lemurian ball here, which
it's like a pearl
we can
on a
even
shell there,
resonate. I just thought that.
Did you?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to work out what that means.
Well, I can tell you now what that means from a metaphorical perspective.
Go on.
You know, like sand has to enter a shell in order to create a pearl, doesn't it? So at the moment, what we're experiencing collectively is the sand irritating the internal world of all of us in order for these pearls of wisdom to be born. And I think what we're seeing at the moment is this experience of all this grit and hardship that we're seeing collectively, in order for us to be awakened into, you know, more clear crystalline wisdom, and that is I feel like where we're
literally
heading.
It's very much like
Pearl
sea
rules
glass.
June as well. Weirdly,
Does
Pearl
it?
is the stone that rules the month of June.
So the other thing as well is that it's the same as sea glass. You have to go through the roughness to create a smooth gem.
Yep.
That's why I'm obsessed with sea glass. The other thing is as well is there's going to be a massive push with the build up of all of these civil unrest. Massive push against animal testing.
Yeah.
I feel like within a couple of years or a year, I don't quite know the projection for that, but it's going to be a thing of the past. So that is going to be really hit.
Yeah.
I think the Ridgeland Farms was the precipice of law change and all the semantics of animal abuse and rights changed. So I feel like that'll be a thing of the past. They don't need to test on animals anymore. They've got everything they need to test it without putting animals through torture, and I think that's going to be the next thing. Yeah. So that's really good news. I've just seen clarity with that. I'm trying to work out why I'm just seeing one figure standing in the middle of a snowstorm. What's
just
that
going
about?
back to
have a look at your.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of planets at the moment that are transiting over the 7th house in mundane astrology, which rules all kinds of.
Can I just ask? Sorry, what does mundane astrology mean?
So mundane is kind of world astrology. It's more about world astrology,
but you're just doing a UK.
Individual. But what I'm working with at the moment is looking at the UK, but I'm also using the astrological workings of this to use it as a tarot card for the collective in general, but honed into the UK. But I'm also looking at this from a personal perspective as well to some degree, collectively. So when I'm looking at the 7th house at the moment, we've got a lot of planets transiting over the 7th house, which rules foreign affairs, diplomacy, treaties, alliances, trade agreements, and open enemies and war. And so obviously at the moment, what we have in our 7th house, in the UK specifically, is very connected to it's Aries energy. So basically, as you know, Aries is the planet that rules war, rules conflict.
I don't know,
but it also rules dominance. It rules assertion. It rules, kind of taking charge, taking leadership. And at the moment, we've got quite a few planets transiting over there. We've got Saturn specifically, which is hitting the North Node, which is our country's destiny, if you like, our country's destiny.
What does that mean?
And Saturn is about restriction. So at the moment, there's this feeling of real restriction, and almost Saturn also rules structure. So it's about restructuring our soul's destiny as a UK environment. But I feel like this is going on collectively as well in the world.
That's incredible, because I just said to you before you said that, there's a man standing there alone. It's like in a snowstorm, but it's not. It's like a sandstorm of nothing, of no growth. So the general energy of what I feel the UK is in at the moment is they're feeling very lacklustre, not patriotic. Yep. They feel like they've been placed in a desert. Yep. There's a lot of heightening energy of resentment because of how the country's being run at the moment. So we need to have a look at how possibly that's going to take place, what's going to take place in the next 6 months for that.
So, I mean...
Are we going to get any breakthroughs of like positive political leaders? Are we going to feel like we're not in the desert anymore? I feel like this element of abandonment, it's like we're just... What's happened to our country? The loss of identity, the loss of direction, the loss of support. I mean, we obviously have to go through the rough to get to the smooth. That's the energy I'm feeling around the UK.
We're actually literally taking in sand at the moment from every area, and again, that's very Aries energy, which is ruling the 7th house of our kind of partnerships and other countries at the moment. So there's this feeling of real sort of standoffishness and, you know, stagnation going on. But I feel like, you know, on the whole, looking at the chart, we've got some, you know, quite positive things at the moment. We've got, you know, which is, I think is very poignant at the moment. We have a new moon in Gemini, which is actually today, okay? And that's hitting the 9th house of the chart for the UK. But again, we're looking at this on a collective scale as well, which was very connected to, like I said, law, courts, very connected to kind of all things that are related to justice, but it's also very connected to immigration, weirdly, as well. So, you know, we've got that kind of, you know, that being shed a light on at the moment. It's also very connected to religion, publishing, all of those kinds of things. But again, the 9th house for me on a you know, a one-to-one basis, I always see it as a very spiritual space. So even though I'm looking at this from a mundane perspective of all of those more broader kind of avenues, I'm also looking at it from, you know, having the new moon there in Gemini. I feel like the country is beginning to want to communicate more on a spiritual level with, you know, and having more spiritual experiences, more. And again, I could also link this to people in the UK are literally leaving the country. You know, they're actually leaving the country because we're running away from conflict and we're wanting to, you know, find ourselves in a space of peace. But what this is also showing me is that we're, you know, because it's in Gemini, we're in a place where we're wanting to actively communicate more, and we're not going to just stand back and take what we're being dealt. And I think that's, you know, from a spiritual perspective, because that, you know, the 9th house, it rules spirituality, it rules growth, higher education, it rules foreign travel. Again, very linked to what we were talking about here with regard to the 7th house.
So from what you're seeing, do you think we're still going into immigration problems? Or are we coming out of it, or are we going to start fighting against it?
Is really going to be saying, you know, let's talk about this and let's bring this out in the open more. Let's talk about what's really going on here, not just with immigration, but, you know, definitely connected there, but also with our law system. What's going on with our governments, with our law systems?
Yes, it's going to be
what is happening. We're going to start communicating about this more. And I mean, I'm sure people have seen this over the news at the moment anyway, with different things that even we've caught onto that are going on collectively through people that have spoken to us about different things. So clearly, you know, there's a lot going on that's going to be now being talked about. And again, Gemini is all about your local neighbourhood. So I think what this could also indicate is that we're going to have a huge amount of emphasis about our local communities as well. And again, that could definitely be immigration, but also with law and order. So we're going to see, you know, a lot of conflict around those areas, but also the need and desire to make changes. Because a new moon is also about new beginnings. You know, a new moon, it comes in when it's all about, right, let's try and, you know, forge communication, Gemini, in a new way, more spiritual, 9th house, Gemini. Let's try and find a way that we can bring a little bit more harmony into things. Do we really want a complete civil war? I'm sure that we don't. But actually our government and our police systems are going to have to make some radical changes.
Oh, there will be,
because there's no trust in them anymore. And I think this is what what we're actually seeing here.
Well, I can see a skull in there, which represents death to me, which is a scorpionic energy.
Yeah, and again, we've pulled all these cards already. The Aquarian, the Pluto, the
I have another
Neptune.
go on that. Let's ask that. But the Scorpion energy, that's good because that's endings. That's a new concept. That's a new way of being.
It's also
so
rebirth
I think
as well.
we may. If I go into my psychic intuition, I feel that there's potentially going to be more and more exposure of, and we're not being disrespectful. We're not being racist. We're not anti-immigration. I'm just saying that it seems to be highlighted every day that an immigrant has attacked someone or done this or done that. They're really highlighting that in religious places as well, which I know we predicted with the angels last year. And by the way, if you see anything in the ball, let me know. But I just feel like it's the same as everything else I've been explaining over the last 18 months. It's like the underbelly needs to be cut for it to be open looked at. And I feel that potentially there'll be more civil unrest or rise, or more focus on look what immigration is doing to our country, and it could potentially go a bit but with the death and the skull in here and the scorpionic energy, then potentially we could start seeing clarifying and law change. And interestingly, I've just seen an ET in there as well. So we'll talk about disclosure and cosmic galactic stuff in a minute.
So again, you know, looking at the chart, again, looking at Gemini is all about communication. But you know, we've also got in the home natal chart of our country in the UK, we've also got Juno within that same 9th house. So this Juno is the, you know, the energy that kind of brings marriage, if you like, bringing people together, union. So even though we've got these conflicts going on, we've also got this energy of union and coming together. And
so is that spiritually, or is that people coming together to say no more?
I think spiritually, but both, because like I think what's happening here is we're seeing the injustices happening in the world. Take out the ethnicity of things. What we're seeing is injustice. What we're being shown here, look at the bigger grand scheme of things, we're being shown injustice, right, which is very Jupiterian in its energy. We're being shown the need to communicate these injustices. We're being shown the need to come together, you know, irrespective of race, creed, religion, anything. We're wanting to unite against corrupt governments and corrupt police systems and corrupt statutes and corrupt laws and all of those things. And Jupiter, you know, is connected to all of those things. And the 10th house also is, which I'll come to in a minute. But the cards I've just pulled now on what we've just been discussing is Mercury. Again, this is what rules Gemini. It's its ruler. So Mercury is all about communication, the mind, messages, you know, making sure that you're understanding things. Mercury is also very connected to you know, the legalities as well in some shape or form as well. And again, Mercury energy is about wanting to get to, you know, the bottom of things. It's not, you know, like when you're looking at Mercury retrogrades, you know, what we're actually looking at here which we will be having, and we're actually looking into this here with regard to we needing to communicate with each other. We needing to come into union with each other and communicate. That's what the Juno energy is for. And again, we pulled Juno in the card deck, which is so bizarre.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So it's, you know,
oh my God.
You can see the card of
then?
Juno is about, you know, union, coming together, communicating, partnerships. So I think what's going to happen with the UK, I think we made partnership with another country. And I wouldn't be surprised if it might be the USA.
I was about to say that.
I've had a few dreams over the last few years of us coming into union with the USA in some way, shape or form. And maybe not becoming as sovereign as we would like to be. And that we may be needing to be more aware of our allies and more aware of people that, you know, we can trust, that can you know, be a part of a different way of being. I think that gone are the times of us all being so segregated in our own, you know, environments. And again, that's very Aquarian in its energy. You know, Aquarius likes to be independent, but actually what we're having at the moment with the Pluto moving into that energy, I think there's going to be a real shakedown of that. And I think countries will will start to shift structures and become more unionized, if that makes sense, more in unison with each other, more collaborative with each other.
Yeah, I agree.
In taking out the evil in the world, you know, in kind of getting rid of what is going on wrong in the world, you know, and that is what I'm seeing here very, very, you know, clearly in the cards, that there's a real need to communicate.
There's a moth, so that represents death and transformation, doesn't it? So again, that's backing up the skull. Yeah. There's also red in here, which is Uriel. So he's very, very much trying to protect us from a lot of energy. So he's very busy. Some of you may find you're attracted more to red. You may find that you're
energy as well.
Is it Aries?
Yeah. So Aries energy, and again, this is doing problems, but again connected to war.
Yeah. Okay. So red, or red for chakra.
Root chakra, hometown, your roots,
your
ancestry, you know.
This is all about you, owning it, speaking your truth, joining collectives that are going to help for the greater good, and not allowing the propaganda and the media to be something that will sway you or bring your energy down, because that's all they want to do. Yeah. They just want to show you doom and gloom, and then they want to jump in and save you. So be aware of that. It's all these mental mind plays to say, oh, it's really bad, but guess what? We'll sort it out.
Don't allow this to isolate you into individual groups and sects. Allow it to almost, don't let it divide and conquer. Allow it to unite and kind of empower the greater cause, which is, you know, ultimately moving towards sovereignty. You know, again, Aquarian energy is moving towards sovereignty. It's moving towards you know, being more humanitarian based, more connected to again, connected to partnerships and union. I think this is where we're going more, is, like if you get a bully in the playground, sometimes you're needing to team up with others in order to conquer that bully, aren't you? You're needing to kind of be connected to other people. We're so strong in numbers. That's what we need to remember. And it's not just in the physical form, because I actually feel that some of these cards that we're pulling here are very connected to, our galactic connections and galactic partnerships. And I think we're going to start to see a lot more of that. I know we're getting a lot of disclosures at the moment. And again,
hence why there's loads of AI though, because they're trying to say that's not real, but it is.
But it's
just going to be so confused. You just need to go for intuition, and we'll be looking into it to see if it's real or not. Because you've got these Nordics being filmed with Trump the other day, and you're like, that's total AI.
Yeah,
but then if it was real, everybody think it's AI.
But
it's
again,
just a whole load of confusion going on with that.
What the most important thing to do is here is guiding you to go within yourself as well. So don't just go for what you see from your eyes. Go for what you feel. Use your heart to see. Use your heart center to see and feel your way through the situations. Because what we're being geared away from here is we're being geared away from reactive energy and more reflective energy. So coming from a space of, let's think about this, how is it, rather than, because that's what they're all planning on, isn't it? They want to show us things that cause combustion and eruption, things that cause reactive behavior. Actually, we need to be cleverer than that. We need to think, right, what are we going to do here? How are we going to collaborate this? How are we going to move forward in making sure that our voice is heard, that what we want as a world, as a country, is being communicated from the people to higher power. There's a part of me that actually can see a lot of higher power crumbling away anyway, because I think we're moving away from perhaps governments per se and more into having partnerships. And that's kind of where I see us going. And Juno is connected to marriage. So
what's the time thing on that? Do you think that's like a lot later on?
I mean, I think we're in the engagement phase, should we say? We're in the engagement phase at the moment.
The marriage is going to happen. Yeah,
I think the marriage is a way off, but I think we're moving into the engagement process at the moment. So I'd say I think by 2028, definitely we will be seeing a marriage of countries, a marriage of alliances building, governments crumbling, building more of a collective that is more humanitarian led for the people.
That's what we're aiming for. It's the whole point of the transition, isn't it?
Yeah, but that is the Pluto in Aquarius energy.
So when I've looked in here, water temperature is going to be coming up, as in water's getting warmer, which we already know. But there's going to be certain areas where there's going to be big pressure spots of geysers going poof, poof. I've just seen that.
I'm just looking here
Waters
to see. So that could make sense because again, we've got Mars transiting through Taurus at the moment in the mundane chart, which can show explosive energy within the because Taurus rules the Earth, planet Earth. It rules the the land.
So this could be Iceland,
agriculture,
Canaries.
Yeah, potentially. I keep feeling the Caribbean for some reason. I don't know if we've got something near the Caribbean or Hawaii or somewhere like that, but I feel like we're going to see some combustive Earth energy, or maybe new Earth being born at that point. But again, Mars energy is very connected to combativeness as well. So it could be something that's more eruptive, that's coming out of the Earth, potentially to do with the Caribbean or Hawaii or something like that. I could see that maybe there's something going on in those areas there.
But go on.
Because we've also got the Uranus energy moving into Gemini, which is now in Gemini. So that's also exacerbating and creating much more, rebellious energy in the way we communicate our soul's needs, our desires for the collective. And having Uranus there also might show us a little bit of instability in the community, chaos in the community. So we could be looking at, some
I
civil
don't want to worry them
unrest,
though. Can you see where it be? Or I'm not. It's not. I'm not talking about, you know, lock your doors and lock your windows.
No, nothing like that. But
it's
you
just you'll be aware that there'll be more people
yeah.
doing marches, more protests, more.
Speaking,
we've had enough.
That's,
you know, so don't start getting worried
energy.
and scared about that. The other, I've just seen yin and yang symbol. So balance has been established. That was a message from Euro earlier. Yeah. They're helping to try and sort this balance out because some people are getting a bit jittery. For those that are aware, awake, or you're looking for numbers, signs, 22 or 222's just come up really clearly on here. So if you're seeing 222, you are in alignment. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You're being looked at. You're being helped. Your balance is being brought to you. And so when you get that symbol, that number, know that you give out peace and calm, give out what you've got, because you're exactly at the right level of spiritual alignment that you can give out that peace, calm, strength to those that are struggling, okay?
Yeah.
Also, for some reason, there's going to be news about Saturn. Where is Saturn in that? Because I've just seen a ringed planet. That is Saturn, isn't it?
Yeah,
what's
the ringed planet. Yeah,
yeah.
The ringed planet. So Saturn at the moment is in the 7th house of the mundane astrology, which rules, again, foreign alliances and things like that. But Saturn, you know, it can be restrictive. So it means that maybe there's been some issues with restrictions and issues with regard to foreign alliance and things like that. But it's also about partnerships, which is what we've just been talking about. But in our own personal lives, the 7th house rules our lovers, the people that we communicate with, our partnerships to do with work. So you may be experiencing that even on a collective level. You may be feeling that you're having some restriction with regard to how you're managing your relationships, your close, meaningful relationships, your work relationships,
which would fall in turn with atonement right at the beginning.
Yeah. So just being mindful to know that energy is kind of around at the moment. So using it to its higher octave. So perhaps using the Aries energy in that area of space to be more assertive yourself, not taking rubbish from anybody, not keeping your boundaries tight, allowing what you said at the very beginning, allowing into your life, and people into your life that only enrich the soil in which you're living in. Don't kind of bring any of their rubbish to the table. So it's just being very selective with the people that you work with, people that you spend a lot of your time with, and people that you allow into your romantic life and your love life specifically as well. That they are bringing something to that, they're enriching the soil and they're not taking away from it, because Saturn energy can be quite restrictive in that respect. But it also is a very big rewarder. So it's kind of showing you that, Saturn energy always shows you that if you put in the hard work, you reap the benefits. So maybe what we're being shown here is that we're needing to put a lot of work in collectively with partnerships with other countries and foreign countries, but also on an individual level, we're needing to put a lot of work into the relationships that we have with others and our careers and our focus and our goals and, what we're wanting to achieve, not just individually at work, but collectively in partnership with other people. So that I feel is quite relevant for what's going on at the moment. We also have Venus transiting the 10th house, and it's conjuncting, which means it's sitting on top of Jupiter. So what Venus I normally attribute to money and finances. So I feel like there's going to be a real emphasis on money and finances.
In what respect?
In the respect of perhaps, I would say probably maybe at the moment, because it's going into Leo, I'd say leading more in that energy. So it would be perhaps, I feel maybe going up, maybe things going up in price to some degree, but also I feel like maybe digital currency may be something that's going to start to come more into the fore, because again, we're very much connecting to, perhaps there's going to be like perhaps a fall in, our own finance and currency, but actually an exaggeration and an expansion of digital currency potentially.
So I've just got their realignment with energy prices, so they could rise, and there'll be some law or something that will come in to say enough's enough. This needs to be balanced out.
So that could be to do with, because it's Uranus is involved in that as well, because we've got a Uranus trine there. So it could be connected to, electricity potentially. There could be a hike in electricity. And
right, so that'll be reduced down. So don't panic too much about that. The other part of this is that another ascension symptom, because I seem to get those for you, don't I, will be right eye, either blurring, dry, sore, what's the word? Twitching, bit achy on this side of the head. It's because what's happening is the left hemisphere is starting to be developed, so we can get both like stereo sound. So there could be a bit of pressure or a bit of overworking of the right hand side of the brain and the eye. Okay, so if you've got that, again, that's going to sit for a little while and then dissipate. That's, again, it's another part of our ascension symptoms, okay? But it will leave. I had this for a while and it's left now. I kept feeling I had something in my eye. I kept feeling it was itchy. I kept feeling it was, I had to keep blinking. I thought, what is this all about? And there was just nothing. And then it suddenly went, dunk, and it was gone. And it was just all, and then they told me that. And it's just been backed up here with the yin and yang. I'm still working under that yin and yang energy at the moment for balance with Uriel.
So what I'm seeing more here is connections to partnerships, foreign lands, government issues, issues with our own, homeland, issues with finances, issues with, legalities. And I'm wondering as well whether there may be some rebellion in regard to marriage in general, as in we may see a bit more of a rebelliousness towards it. Not as many people getting married as there used to be. Maybe the laws changing with regard to matrimony, and maybe more
get like 3-year contracts and review them.
Yeah, or maybe rights, like rights and communicating things.
Yeah, like divorce and rights with
spousal.
If you're not married,
exactly,
for instance.
Spousal arrangements.
Because look what happened to me.
Exactly. So I think there may be that may come into play, that we may see some law changes, legislation changes, and things like that. Because again, we're going to go through a process here. It's not just going to happen overnight. All the things that we're bringing to you on these, forecasting events are things that are starting to be born, if you like.
Yeah, I think
things I
agree with that. I can see that, definitely.
Things that are
especially so people that aren't married. Rights for people that
aren't married, or civil
signed a
partnerships.
3D contract.
Yeah, civil partnerships, or people that have been living with each other for a certain amount of time. Perhaps even paternal or maternal rights in regards to children. Again, this could change. We could see some legislation changes in those areas.
There's a lot of change coming, but we can't. I can see like the chaos stripes here. But you know what? It's all good. As I keep saying, hang on in there, because this is just the storms that are washing out all the crap. It's that simple.
Exactly that. And there's no comfort in change, is there? Change takes place, and we have to strip away things that are no longer serving us. Look at your experience that you've just been through. In order to have change, we have to change and shake up the surroundings around us, and that is what Uranus energy is doing. It's moving into Gemini. It's moving into the energy of communication. I think we'll see some massive transformations in social media. I think we may even see some actually taken down and completely gone and starting again with different things, more free platforms that are more open and available for you to talk freely. People moving away from constricted.
But also, I think
voice.
there might be constrictions with. There'll be really strict laws coming, I think, for younger users.
Yeah.
I've just seen, this is really weird, I've just seen like a tornado and I heard Kansas. So I don't know if I'm going into Wizard of Oz, or there will be some sort of wind or tornado or storm hitting around Kansas area.
Yeah.
Ariel always likes to put a few bits in, doesn't she? She always tells me whether to.
That would make sense, because again, you've got Mars going through Taurus. So, even though I'm looking at the UK, so Mars is about, conflict, it's about, disturbance, volatility, and it's going through Taurus, which is connected to homeland, agriculture, places, where you grow food, places, and that kind of thing. But it's very connected to the physical body as well. So we may see, a bit more of that kind of need to be nurturing our physical bodies as well, you know. But again, this energy is going through the 8th house, which kind of rules our country's debts and our country's finance. So having Mars moving through that, because Taurus is also connected not only to the land, but it's also connected to finance. So I would say that we're going to see some real, shaking up of our financial systems. I would say that would definitely
for the better or worse?
Well, it may be a bit chaotic to start with, but I think it may be for the long-term betterment. But I think it's going to seem like it's really chaotic at the beginning.
You could, in the middle of this, it's just a pure shining light, and there's just loads what looks like weaving and crosses and
cobwebs.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But when you look in, it's clarity. It's just all the BS we've got to get through to get there. It's absolutely
And I'm hearing
fine.
Charlotte's Web. You know, like when you see the movie Charlotte's Web, where she's constantly creating a spider that creates new cobwebs and you know, new connections. And I think that's what we're needing to do. And interestingly,
Power of 8, number 8.
The 2 cards I just pulled again here.
Might see number 8
is the 4th house of home. So again, it's a real emphasis in home, generically across a collective level and mundane level, but also home where you are, you know, your home, what feels like home for you, and the relationship you have to your home. So again, you know, connecting those elements there.
That's interesting, because a couple of videos ago I did about that. Do you remember creating that sanctuary for your home, everything?
Yeah.
So re-look at that video, make some notes, and create the most spiritual sanctuary you can for your home.
Yeah.
The most safest space, with grounding either from, you know that I've got that connection with Earth in Revolution. Get the mats in, get the covers in, get everything you need in. I bloody pack mine.
And interesting, you've got Mercury transiting at the moment through Cancer, which is very connected to home, and it's actually going through the 10th house again of government. So the home of government is going to be having some communication changes. So that
Starmer is out, baby.
Yeah.
Starmer's out. I don't think Trump is, though. He's still there.
Yeah.
Still hanging on.
I think,
what is that there?
You know, we're definitely seeing all of these changes taking place for sure. I'm going to just pull another deck out. A little bit of Sacred Forest.
Yay! Get a bit of elemental in there.
Get a bit of elemental energy. These are lovely cards, actually. So let's have a little shuffle up and see what we've got going on here.
Why am I seeing Africa in helicopters? I just don't get that. Has there been some sort of coup over there, or is there going to be, or...
I don't know, but I just heard Rio de Janeiro.
Where's that?
Where is that? Is that Cuba? Where's Rio? I'm not
That's
good at
Brazil.
geography. Rio de Janeiro.
All right, I can put that in. Rio de Janeiro and Africa. But there's some sort of, I don't know if there's a coup and of government overthrow. But again, this is part of chaos that leads to light. So this was needed to do. This was needed to be done. So there's some sort of overthrow of a leader or something like that will take place. I can't see in Africa where it is. Potentially there could be one in Rio de Janeiro as well. But the Africa one... If anything, I want to go west. Seems to be good energy around New Zealand at the moment. I don't know if that's to do with wealth, weather, whatever it is, but there seems to be really good, vibrant growth energy around New Zealand at the moment.
I'm also feeling an earthquake, another earthquake, but not around
Yeah,
New
I hit
Zealand.
the Philippines.
Really?
I knew it was hitting there, yeah.
So I'm feeling like...
I've had mass ones over the last few days.
I'm feeling like maybe US, like little tremors in the US.
Whereabouts?
Maybe out towards Texas or somewhere like that.
Okay. It's on there, it's in there. We'll see if it happens. Let us know, darlings. You are our feedback, as well as Karen, bless her. And you. Faye looks at the all of the comments as well, don't you? You know all the predictions.
So we've pulled, oh wow, this is interesting. So we've pulled the Wood Nymph, which is all about beauty. So you can see what we spoke a lot about getting in the water, didn't we, at the beginning? We're making sure that your birth, you know, you're bringing yourself into the water, that you're cleansing yourself, you know. And so the Water Nymph card is very connected to that. It's about, you know, bathing in beauty, bathing in, you know, making sure that you're bringing the beauty out of yourself into the collective, into the world, showing people your light, you know, allowing yourself to be connected to the divine, connected to the consciousness that's growing within the, you know, the collective, but also bringing that out and sharing it with others. You can see there's other people in the picture there.
I've just got to interrupt that little bit, because you are responsible in your own individual rights on how the collective vibrates and receives you. So if you're putting in worry, fear, doubt, anger, resentment, whatever it is, and someone else does it, we're going to create a collective of even more chaos. And I'm not saying that you have to be brilliant and fluffy and come by art. Nobody is. We're human. But generally, aspiring and working towards what can make my day, my mind, my consciousness better is a way forward in us eradicating all of the cobwebs.
And what can I do to make somebody else's day better?
Yes.
You know, sometimes being of service to others, you know.
Yeah.
And again, some, you know, that's very, you know, relevant even when we're looking at the mundane chart, you know,
Yeah.
is that, you know, very much connected to Cancerian energy, being of service, communicating service to others, you know, in your local communities.
And yet again,
how can you
water
be
energy.
helpful in your local community?
Yeah.
You know,
What can I do to help the collective, myself, my community? It's all consciously aware of trying to create a better space. If we all did that individually, these problems would have been over in a day.
Yeah, and if we also tried to work on ourselves, you know, actually do the work we need to do in order to help ourselves, you know, because a lot of the time what we tend to do is hand over responsibility to other people. And I think this is what we're really seeing in the mainstream at the moment, is that the problems that have accrued from that, where we've just handed over complete trust to others, handed over complete responsibility of our health to the National Health Services and you know, and leadership of our countries to complete buffoons. So I think what we're actually starting to realise now is that, you know, we can't go on like that. We need to use our discernment. We need to make sure that we're, you know, communicating what we want, and we're wanting our communication and our needs to be heard. You know, and this is what we're standing up for right now. And this is what the Aquarian energy is all going to be about. The Pluto in Aquarius is all about standing up for what you believe.
Yeah.
And that for what you feel is right. And again, we've pulled, another card we pulled here is the Daffodil Fairy. So this is about new beginnings, and it couldn't have come at a better time as we're having a new moon in Gemini. At 24 degrees Gemini, that would have come into play today at 3:54, I think it is UK time. So, yeah, it's come into play, a nice new beginning in Gemini. So this is about...
Right, can you just... sorry to interrupt.
No,
They've just said, as in there's loads of like angelic realms sourcing in. They've also shown me Mercury.
Cancer,
and
Cancer.
People that are suffering with cancer who are watching this now, we need to do a minute TikTok collective of sending energy out to those that are suffering with cancer now.
Yeah.
So have you got any sound frequency or anything you would use? What about the gong?
What
would you use?
I would probably use, I can use a crystal, I've got crystal bowls, but they're put away. But I've got a heart bowl up the top that I could get out.
Brilliant. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
We've got to go with what they say. While you're doing that, another thing I've just seen here is the image of Jesus. So the Christ consciousness is coming in. For the next quarter year, it's going to be very strong. Some of you may be seeing him in your meditations or just literal like pictures of him everywhere. Just to remind you, the Christ consciousness is coming in. The best way to do it is Google Christ consciousness and then explain exactly what that energy is all about. And there's regular things they keep bringing up in these freeform kind of videos, isn't there? Because I always kind of talk about an ascension symptom, and I always bring you a spirit animal. And there were so many of you who said, I can't believe you just said that, Nikki. There's one just land in front of me, there's one here. I hope this doesn't land in front of you. But your spirit animal that to look out for, to show you you're being aligned, you're being loved, you're being protected, is lion. So this is going to come up in your cards. It potentially, you could see it in a picture or a photograph. But there's going to be... lion is your spirit animal for this session that we're doing now. Okay, I'm so sorry, Faye. Oh my God, that is insane.
But also, you know, when we picked up the daffodil card and you spoke about the cancer, I actually do think we are going to start getting some breakthrough cancer research.
I predicted that last couple of videos ago.
And cures and things that we perhaps thought were absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
I believe that is definitely going to be...
Yeah, and
coming.
sound frequency is going to have a lot to do with that. And origins of who we are. Oh, what is that made of?
Quartz crystal.
I'm so glad I asked her to get this out. Are you enjoying this? Let me know. Let them see the bowl first, darling.
Oh.
Hang on a minute, let me grab it.
I don't know if I can reach.
Look at that. And it's green, Raphael, straight in
This is the heart chakra frequency.
Right, so what I want you to do is, before you start doing it, and I'll just talk through whatever
put it on my lap,
Raphael wants to tell me.
Let me do it. Let's excuse the bum.
Don't worry, darling, it's a beautiful juicy bottom. And what I want you to do is just, if you are someone that is suffering with a cancer condition at the moment, I want you to sit and I want you to visualise a huge green light in front of your chest area and just allow it to blaze in front of you. If you can't see it, don't worry. Just feel it. Opening out a huge green light. And just say, I'm willing to receive. I give you permission to send healing to me. For those of you that know people that are currently fighting or having cancerous conditions, please envisage them in your head now, or look at a photograph and say, please send this healing energy to this person or people. And for those that stand strong, that don't have cancer in their bodies, I please ask you to do the following thing. Listen to that vibration. And I want you to visualize that sound being absorbed into your hands. Specific person, the whole world. Where did your intuition tell you to send this vibration? Send it back out, darlings. Embrace it, let it go through your body, and then push it back out. I'm going to leave you for an amount of time, intuitively, for you to embrace this sound and vibration to send out to our beautiful planet. So during my visualization, just open your eyes, just have a little move about. It's just a very short one for you. Mine went over the whole of the UK, across to Ireland, Wales, obviously Scotland, Shetland. It went a bit over to Norway. Then it went over to America, Canada. It went down to South America. Brazil hit the Caribbean islands, Hawaii, Mexico. And it started going further and then it stopped. So that's what I needed to send today. So all you can do is replay this part every time you want to send it out. We could do a separate one actually for VIPs and just put it in there for them to use. Again, unexpected but absolutely amazing. Thank you, Faye. That was amazing, wasn't it?
Thanks for having me.
Do you know, I love that. Oh, I feel a bit very angelic, darling. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to leave it there because we're now at an hour. Can you believe that?
God. Where's that time
We
gone?
smashed it, girlfriend. Bless you. Thank you so much for being here.
No worries.
If you like having Faye here, let us know. Well, you're not going to say you don't, are you?
They might.
Rude. I think it's a really good team, don't you? Obviously, I'll do my stuff as well, but I think it's brilliant having such a wonderful human being here to assist and help you as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to sit and do that now, actually, with a cup of tea. So without further ado, we're going to get on and we'll see you the next time. God bless you all and
Happy
let us
New
know.
Moon, everyone.
Yes, Happy New Moon. I didn't even know it was there. Gemini moon. I only find out if Ariel tells me. I just don't know. I haven't got a clue. So I really hope you've enjoyed this new edition. I don't mean you as the new edition. I meant new edition as in new subject matter, and I've really enjoyed it.
It's been fun, yeah.
Right, so we'll speak to you again soon. Lots of love. God bless. Love you all, tribe.
Bye.
Keep going. Please press the like button and the subscription because that's what will keep our tribe going. Many thanks. Love you all.